friends, today we are doing something a little different. This video concept came to me while I was looking at my bookshelves, as I typically do. I just sometimes have to admire them. And I've been really wanting to read one of these books, like very much so wanting to get to it. And I was like, what can I do? What can I do? And I was like, I have a few alternate reality based books. So we have 3 books today that involve some sort of altered universe where if like something was done different, what would the consequences be? So today we are going to be reading The Husbands by Holly Gramazio, which I've heard very mixed things about. I think all of these books, I feel like these kind of concepts are very much so you love it or hate it. But in this book, it is about Lauren, and it says, when Lauren returns home to her flat in London late one night, she is greeted at the door by her husband, Michael. There's only one problem. She's not married. She's never seen this man before in her life, but according to her friends, her much improved decor and the photos on her phone, they've been together for years. As Lauren tries to puzzle out how she could be married to someone she can't remember meeting, Michael goes to the attic to change the light bulb and abruptly disappears. In his place, a new man emerges. A new, slightly altered life reforms around her. Realizing that her attic is creating an infinite supply of husbands, Lauren confronts the question, if swapping lives is as easy as changing a light bulb, how do you know you've taken the right path? When do you stop trying to do better and start actually living? So it sounds very fascinating. This next book my friend Emily really loved, and this is called The Names by Florence Knapp. And this one says, can your name change the course of a life? In the wake of a catastrophic storm, Cora sets off with her 9-year-old daughter, Maya, to register the birth of her son. Her husband, Gordon, respected in the community, but a controlling presence at home, intends for her to follow a long-standing family tradition and name the baby after him. But when faced with the decision, Cora hesitates. Spanning 35 years, what follows are 3 alternate and alternating versions of their lives, shaped by Cora's last-minute name choice. In richly layered prose, The Names explores the painful ripple effect of domestic abuse, the messy family ties, and the possibilities for autonomy and healing. Through a prism of what-ifs, Florence Knapp invites us to consider ... So I think the different things are like in the different realities of like having the baby have a different name. Bear, Gordon, yeah, it's like the different names that the baby has and how that impacts how they turn out. And then Kayla from Books and Lala recently gave this 5 stars. And do she and I have the same taste at all? No. But we're giving it a go. This is The Other Side of Now by Paige Harbison. I do have my bookmark in here. Plotting my next escape. Anywho, this one says, with a leading role on a hit TV show and a relationship with Hollywood's latest heartthrob, Meg Bryan appears to have everything she ever wanted. But underneath her happiness is as fake as her stage name, Lana Lord. Following a tiny nervous breakdown at her 30th birthday party, she books an impromptu trip to Ireland, specifically to the village to where she and her late best friend, Amy, always were dreamed of moving. When Meg arrives, the people in town don't just recognize her, they seem to know her. She quickly, reluctantly realizes she has somehow slipped into an alternate reality. One where she did move to Ireland as a teenager, one where she never got famous, and most shocking of all, one where Amy is alive and well. She just wants nothing to do with Meg. Despite her bewilderment, Meg is eye-cleared about one thing. This is a once-in-2-lifetimes chance to reconnect with her friend and repair what she broke, or else risk losing Amy all over again. This one is the one I think I'm going to like the most, and I think this is the one I'll probably like the least. That's my prediction. I think this is going to be too beautifully written for me, but we will see. We will see where the wind takes us, and I'm excited for these alternate realities. About halfway through The Names by Florence Knapp. This book is feeling like a 3-star at the time being, which makes me sad because so many people have given it 5 stars, but I do think I'm struggling because it is, this goes back to me having a pea brain. I feel like this book is written too beautifully for me, and I like books that are written like this, just like brain candy vibes. Once in a while, a book that's more well written will work for me. But this was the one that I was the most nervous about in this video, and I was able to get a skip the line audio copy for it because the wait was pretty long. So whatever. But in this book we have got the mom. Her name is Cora, and she is having a baby. She has an older daughter named Maya, and she's having a son. Her husband is kind of like an aggressive man. He's a doctor, and it's this family tradition that the firstborn son gets named Gordon after the dad. However, she doesn't really want to do that. She wants him to have his own name and be able to be his own person. So basically Cora goes to like register the birth of her son, and I just wasn't sure how they were that. Birth of her son. And we follow the story in 3 different realities where she made 3 different choices. One of them being naming him Gordon, one of them being naming him Julian, which is the name she wanted to name him, and one of them naming him Bear, which is the name that Maya, the sister, wanted to name him. And just kind of showing how different everything would be. I feel like if I explain any further, it is a spoiler. But in the 3 realities, like, things are so deeply different. The way that the little boy is perceived in the world, the way the world perceives him, and how this also even affects Cora and Maya's lives and the dad's life, Gordon, is so fascinating. And I do think it is a really interesting concept. So my name is obviously Hannah. When my parents were in the hospital having me, my name's Hannah Marie, okay? They originally were planning me, giving me like a cool girl name and naming me Austin Faye, okay? But then I was born and they were like, no, she doesn't look like an Austin. We're gonna name her Hannah. So I'm like, would I have a totally different, I feel like I would have to be like a super like edgy cool girl if my name was Austin, or like a super sporty spice. So it's just like so fascinating. Like, does the name that you were given really affect your life in that like profound of a way? So it is like a very interesting concept. I don't see myself giving this book less than 3 stars, but I don't know if it will, it's just like not hitting in the way that I super want to. Part of it might be because I'm listening to it on audio, but I do sometimes, I am now at 50%, really like, I know which storyline is which, but I was getting a little bit confused, having to look to see which point of view we're in. But I deeply know what's going on in each of them, but I just don't want to tell you really anything because it doesn't really give you like anything. It literally just says, spanning 35 years, what follows are 3 alternate and alternating versions of their lives, shaped by Cora's last-minute choice of a name. So, like, I don't want to tell you guys too much, but it is feeling like a 3, a strong 3 right now. And, yeah, I'm pretty excited, jazzed. I should finish this today. It's fairly, the book's fairly short. The audio is like 9.5 hours. It's like a 300-page book. So, yeah, this is what we're going to get up to for the rest of today while I work. And I'm pretty excited about it. So let's get going, baby. So, remember when I talked to you a moment ago in your timeline? And I said this book was going to get no less than a 3-star. Yeah, well, I gave it a 2. I did. The second half of this book was painfully boring. This book kind of gave me the same, the books are not similar at all, but the feeling it left inside of me is the same feeling as Addie LaRue, where, like, I can see why some people might like it, but to me it's just so painfully boring, and that's all I can think about is how bored I am. Very rarely am I listening to an audiobook where I have to like rewind because I was like, oh wait, no, I forgot to pay attention because I'm so bored. And that is kind of how I felt about the second half of this book. During, like, at the end, there were some, like, actual, like, good, not like good, but there were parts towards the end that I found more, like, heartfelt and I was enjoying, but like the whole middle of the book was so painfully boring. So I'm gonna have to give this 2 stars, and I'm hoping that I'm probably gonna read The Other Side of Now last because that's the one I have the most hope for loving. This just no thank you, not for me. It's gonna be leaving the home. I know I said I was going to read The Husbands next, but I lied. I'm going to read this next, Other Side of Now, because the loan for this one is due sooner, and I'm going to listen to it on audio while I work. And additionally, there are like 5 people waiting for it, so A, I want to get it to them, and B, I won't be able to just renew my hold. So we're going to move into this book. I hope it makes me cry, except for I've been crying a lot in real life because life be lifing. So maybe I don't want to cry, but maybe it'll be good to cry more. who knows? Let us see what we think of this, and I will check in with you guys when I'm about halfway through. You guys, I am so sucked in to the other side of now. I am currently like 60% of the way in. I like honestly didn't realize I was already that far into it. My husband came in to talk to me and I looked and I was like, I need to go in. I gotta come update y'all. So this book is super fun. In this book, we've got our main character. Her name is Meg, or Lana is her stage name. And whenever she and her best friend, Amy, were teenagers, they saw a palm reader. And the palm reader read her palm and said, like, her lifeline split into 2 lines. Like, she was going to have 2 totally different lives. Whatever. She didn't really think much of it. As time goes on, she gets accepted into this school in Ireland, and her best friend Amy does not get accepted. She gets waitlisted. She decides not to go, and she and Amy go to college together in Florida. And things happen, and Amy dies. And Meg / Lana goes on to be a famous actress. She kind of having like an epiphany about her life, and she decides, you know what, I'm taking a vacation. She buys like there's 1 flight left to Ireland. She gets on the plane and she goes. When she wakes up, and I think like she gets off the plane and wakes up, she is there. She is brought to this cottage that she is renting, and things are just kind of like odd. People are treating her kind of like they know her, and she's like, okay, maybe it's because I'm famous. And then like she goes to this pub, and the guy has such a bad attitude with her, like he's mad at her, and she's like, oh, do you have a phone charger? He's rolling his eyes at her. She doesn't recognize her phone, and then she sees in a mirror, she doesn't recognize herself. She's seeing an older version of herself pre all of her medical procedures, because when she got into Hollywood, she got a nose job, she got buccal fat removal, she got all of these different procedures done, and she's looking in the mirror, and she's also basically been starving herself to like fit the Hollywood standards. So she looks at herself and she's like, what the fuck is going on, basically. And this girl comes over, and like all of these people know her. So Meg kind of realizes she is in this alternate reality of her life, and she's like, what the fuck? So she kind of confides in like one of her friends in Ireland, and kind of tells her what's going on, and she's like, hey, you're nuts. Like, we need to take you to a doctor. You've hit your head. So they bring her to like this doctor, who is this guy Killian, who runs the pub's dad, and his wife's kind of giving her a bunch of attitude, and her friend's like, oh, you probably don't know, you and Killian, like, you're on again, off again, boyfriend, girlfriend, and you just recently broke up with him. So everybody's kind of mad at her for this. And she's like, what do you mean? And then she hears the name Amy. And she's like, Amy? Like, my Amy? And she's like, well, I guess you could say that, but like, you guys are not on speaking terms. And in this altered reality, she and Amy both moved to Ireland, and Amy is alive. Amy is married to her high school sweetheart, who Meg hates, and something has happened that they are not speaking. So Meg really wants to meet up with Amy. Amy agrees to meet up with her, and she kind of explains to her what's going on. Amy agrees with her. Like, Amy believes her because she was with her at this palm reading, and is like, oh my god, what the palm reader said is coming true. And the palm reader never really read Amy's palm and never gave her like an analysis on it. Just kind of like, I'm assuming because she must have also had some sort of split, and in one of them she died. Like, I don't really know. So Amy is really believing it, and I'm assuming maybe something because of how her lifeline be going. And so she's trying to repair this friendship, and she's really just, right now where we're at, like, she's like, I don't want to go back to my other life. I don't know why I would ever go back to that life. This life is so much better. I was so miserable in that other life. And then her Irish friend is like, okay, but like, the thing is like, the Meg I know doesn't like this life. Like, she's trying so hard to break out in Hollywood, and she thinks that like local plays are beneath her. All of this stuff is beneath her, and dot, 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 dot. And so now she's trying to figure out, like, what is happening, why it's happening, if she can stay here. And I'm having a really, really good time with this. It's very fun, very entertaining, engaging. I'm having a wonderful time. So this one's definitely feeling much more like a win. What was the other book we've read so far? We're gonna read, oh, The Names, yeah. I already got rid of that book. That one was not good. This one I'm loving, and we'll see where we end up with the husbands. But so far, we've got a goodie here. I loved her. It's a 5-star. I gave this 5 stars. Have you ever guys, well, what was that sentence? Have you guys ever been reading a book and you're like, yeah, definitely like a 4-star, and you don't think you're like that attached to it, and then something happens and you start crying and you're like, well, I guess I love this book. I guess I feel deeply fucking connected to it because I'm sobbing. I wasn't sobbing, but it did at the end here make me cry, and I was like, okay, I guess I really liked her. I guess I was more invested than I originally thought. But I really deeply enjoyed this book, and I gave it 5 stars. Second half of the book, she's just kind of like toying with the idea of like, which life does she like better? What does she really want out of life? Where is her life going? All of those sorts of feelings, and oh my god, was it good. I don't want to like spoil, this book's not very long, it's barely 300 pages, and I feel like I've already kind of told you guys a lot about it, so I'm not going to really tell you much more other than you should definitely read it. This is at the heart of it a grief story, and there was this line in the epilogue. If you guys don't want a spoiler, not that I think this is necessary. Oh my god, there is a playlist. That's cute. Anti-Hero by Taylor Swift. Okay. So she's talking about Killian and Kira. That's the guy and the girl. The girl she's friends with in Ireland. But she says, after meeting Kira and Killian, I believe in love in a way I used to when I stayed awake at night, with or without Amy, dreaming of what it might someday really feel like. I believe that good, wonderful people are out there, waiting to be met. Losing Amy didn't mean I've lost the chance at true friendship. It only means that I lost Amy. But I hadn't needed to lose everyone. I didn't need to become an island. I have my family, I have Amy's family, and I have these new friends in London. It is impossible to meet new people and grow to love them as much as I loved Amy. No one will ever replace her, but there are people out here who I can love in new ways. And if my little brush with whatever proved anything, it's that there are infinite lives and possibilities. Amy isn't nothing now that she's gone. Her loss didn't need to be a black hole or even a black space. She just isn't there. Oh my god. Live, laugh, love, 5 stars. Husbands, and this is one of those books where I feel like the reviews saying that this is a very mundane book is truly the best way to put it. Like, I genuinely don't feel like my synopsis at halfway is really gonna be much. Basically, we have got this woman named, what's her name, Lauren? Yeah, Lauren. And one day this guy comes downstairs from the attic and is like, yeah, I'm your husband. And she's like, I'm not married, what are you talking about? And she like looks in her phone, there's pictures of her and this guy. She looks around the house, there's pictures of them, her friends know him, like, this guy very much lives, and she's like, what is going on? He goes upstairs to change a light bulb, comes down, it's a different guy. She's like, wait, can you go check something up there? Comes down and it's a different guy. So anytime anybody goes up into the attic, a new husband comes down. She likes some of them more than others. She finds one that she really likes named Carter from America, and she doesn't send him immediately back up there. They start living together for a couple of days, but then he ends up, for whatever reason, going back up in the attic. So now she's kind of cycling through all of these husbands and just seeing what her life is like and trying to figure out why this is happening. And it really is just like new husband after new husband after new husband. It's feeling like a 3-star. Like, I'm entertained by it, but based on the reviews, I don't think it really gets deeper than that. So I don't think it's one that I'm gonna be like obsessed with, but so far it has been entertaining. Her most recent husband is like a evil billionaire, so you know, we're really getting a huge, one guy came down completely butt-ass naked. She's trying to figure out if she should be intimate with these different husbands and how to handle that, because like they presumably have had sex a million times, but She's never seen this person naked. She doesn't know them. So we're kind of going through her whole life, dealing with all these different husbands coming out of her attic. And that's quite literally the book at 50%. And I feel like when I come back, when it's finished, that is still gonna be the book. Finishing this book was terrifying. You want to know why? Because I'm listening to it. The book, it was fine, 3 stars. I don't really have anything else to say about it. So in this video, we had, this was a 3-star, the names was a 2-star. We did find a 5-star though, with The Other Side of Now. But I'm just going to tell you guys, I'm sitting here listening to my audiobook, 5 minutes left in the audiobook, right? And all of a sudden, it's like season 1 Stranger Things up in the house when Will's trying to communicate with Joyce. All the lights in my house start going like, and I'm like, what the fuck is happening? This is how I die. I'm gonna be possessed and go into the upside down. And so like the lights are like, I'm walking from my office to my bedroom. My office is all the way down there, all the way into the hall. And like I have all my like string lights in here on my bookshelves, and they're literally just like flashing. And I'm like, what the fuck is happening? So I posted on the Ring app and I was like, yeah, like, is anybody's like power out? And within 1 minute there was 15 comments. I just heard a bunch of sirens. So I hope first and foremost that everybody is okay. But I'm just like, okay, so what do I do? Because I don't have service in my house. That's another really like great thing. I used to live in Syracuse, New York, and I now live in Austin, Texas. And I have service nowhere, okay? And I have Verizon. It's not like I have some like odd, random, nobody's ever heard of phone service. But there's quite literally no service anywhere. My phone was at like 50% and I'm just like, great. My husband's at work, so I'm just like, hee hee, home by myself, nothing I can do. I mean, I can read. I'm gonna read probably. I don't really have any other options. But yeah, that's where we're at. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you've read any of these books or if there's any alternate reality books that you think I would like. And I will see you in the next one. Toodaloo.